Hey guys, welcome to part 7 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver for the DS. In the last part we got our second gym badge and we took on Satan. I enjoy saying that, I took on Satan and won. That's something I enjoy. So yeah, now all we have to do is head to the next town. But there's actually another forest. Now I know what you're thinking, oh, a forest in a Pokemon game, that's going to be a hoot. A hoot hoot. Oh yeah, a forest, that's original. Well, this one's actually a bit different. You don't just walk through and take on bug catchers or anything like that. Well, first of all, it has really cool music. Like, this is kind of like a dark kind of forest. Like, all the trees kind of mean there's like no sunlight, so I don't think it actually changes appearance from day to night. I think it looks exactly the same. And yeah, and then there's this cool weird music playing that's like dun dun. I won't sing it, you can hear it. You'll be able to hear it. So yeah, this forest is actually kind of pretty cool. And the main reason it's here is because it houses a puzzle that you have to get through. Oh yeah, and I'm using a repel because I think there are probably some more Pokemon you can catch here that you couldn't be able to catch before, but they're still mostly bug Pokemon that are here. Nothing too interesting and nothing I'm interested in catching. So what you have to do here is that you can't get past because you need Cut. And at this point in the game, Cut is usually the first HM you get, or one of the first. Yeah, it usually is. So you know the game's gonna give you Cut when really you don't kind of need it. So what you have to do is solve this puzzle, which is that this guy let his Farfetch'd go. What an idiot! You know, keep that thing on a leash. Jesus, clip its wings. That's what I would do. It's not going anywhere. And you have to catch it. The only problem is the only way you can catch is by walking up. You have to hit it from behind, which means you have to find a way. Yeah, and I have to keep using repels. It's kind of annoying. I think in the next city we can get super repels, but at this point I just have to keep applying them. It's kind of irritating. But so yeah, what you have to do, you have to get out behind it. But if you go up and talk to it, it'll run away. And then if you go on the sticks, it'll turn around in a certain direction. It's actually a pretty cool puzzle. It's not that hard. It shouldn't take you too long to do it. Saying that, when I first was playing through Heart Gold, that took me forever to do. This puzzle just took me forever. I was just stuck on it. I just didn't know. I didn't get it. I think a lot of it is that I didn't really understand the puzzle, or because I always have the volume off when I play handheld games, and I don't really read text when I play games, especially handheld games. I had no idea what you're supposed to do. I kept going up to the Farfetch'd to catch it, and it kept running away, and it was really irritating, and I didn't notice that there were sticks on the ground on the small screen, and pretty much after a lot of embarrassment and actually talking to the guy again and realising that the Farfetch'd turn around, then I figured it out. So yeah, don't be like me, just be smart about this. This one's kind of a bit trickier. Well, trickier because I have to use another repel because I'm trying to do a puzzle. I don't know why they would have Pokemon spawn in this part of the area. I don't know why they would do that. That seems a bit silly. You know, if they're going to make you do a puzzle that involves you running around, why have Pokemon spawn? Because as a reward for this, you get Cut. Spoiler, you know, in 10 seconds we find that out. So you can get through the tree. So why not just have Pokemon spawn past that tree that we're about to cut down? And also that poor tree. Have you seen that poor tree that we're about to cut down? Look at the massive trees everywhere else. These big trees, obviously all grown up and all that. And then amongst all that, there's just this one tiny tree right there. The one tiny tree in this forest, the only one that's like trying to grow and become a big tree so it can look cool in front of all its tree friends, we're gonna just cut it down. We're gonna get York, we're gonna teach Cut to our fire dog thing, whatever, and we're just gonna destroy it so it never even has a chance. Feel kind of bad about that. Well, I'm just looking far too much into trees. It definitely is odd how they didn't change the design of the trees you cut down. They're always that sort of design and they're always that size. You know, with the better graphics they make everything else look big and make sense, but no, you can't get past that one tiny tree. And also the fact that the graphics are better doesn't even makes this whole thing not make much sense, because you can easily just go through the trees. I've been to woods, I've been to forests before. I lived near a couple. You can just walk between trees. It's brilliant. That's the great thing about trees. They don't sellotape together. So, remember that girl we saw before? That was like, what's up, and then left? Well, this is another, yeah, this is another one. There's actually a group of girls like this. But, again, it's really pointless. She's like, I'm lost. Pidgey's like, go over there. And then that's it. There's no point to it. You don't even do anything. And then, I don't know how she's lost. And I don't know how Hawkins saying squawk and go over there and jumping up and down means like, oh, now I know exactly where to leave. It's just a bit, I don't know. Again, I'm nitpicking about it, but I think it's because she wasn't in the original. And now they just add her in, so it's a bit more interesting, this forest. Even though it's a pretty interesting forest anyway. So yeah, that was completely pointless. Also, I should mention that Farfetch'd puzzle that we did was completely different in the original. And I believe all you had to do in the original was chase it down. But then there was like a certain, like you would chase it all the way to one side. And then you had to quickly go round and you had to catch it from behind, but you didn't have the sticks. It was just, you had to run after it and then catch it from behind. And I think it was a bit more irritating, that one. Because the puzzle in this version, you have to think about it a bit and take a bit of time to do it. But in that one, you just had to make sure you didn't just run into it and press A. So anyway, we're out of the forest. It's actually really short, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's atmospheric and really short. You don't waste a lot of time fighting a lot of trainers. But of course, because we're in between cities, we have to fight a lot of trainers. So yeah, before we go straight to the next city, there is another route. Maybe two. No, I think there's only one. And a stupid amount of grass as well. And apparently it's been raining by those puddles, so that's kind of interesting. But I can't remember. This is... Oh, a Snubbull. This is the second gen Pokemon, and it's one of the first to be revealed, I think. Because I believe it was in the animated short before Pokemon's second movie, The Power of One. I can't believe I still remember that. And it's just like a really horrible, disgusting looking Pokemon that is just normal type. You can't really catch in that many places. And it's horrible looking. It's a dog that can stand up. And it's just really horrible. So, like, it was definitely an odd choice to be one of the first Pokemon that are revealed. To be, like, part of the second gen. It was like, yeah, Togepi. Because Togepi was in the anime, and then... I don't know, I can't remember all the ones that were revealed in that short. But it's just weird that Snubbull was around. Because it's disgusting. No offense to Snubbull. Other than that, there's not too many big Pokemon here that you're going to have to fight. Of course, they're slightly higher level, but if you manage to beat the gym, and you manage to beat Satan, then you should be okay against a level 10 Mankey, really. And a level 10 Diglett. But of course, this is nice about this generation, because... I believe it doesn't limit itself as much as the 3rd and 4th gen in terms of how many Pokemon actually appear. So because they're using all the Pokemon... I don't believe they're using all the Pokemon in the 1st gen in this gen. But they have a lot of the Pokemon in the 1st gen and a lot of Pokemon, all the new Pokemon from the 2nd gen. So you're not fighting the same Pokemon like you are in, say, the 4th gen in particular. And like, even in the 5th gen it kind of felt like that. I think this is the one where you're fighting a larger variety of Pokemon at the beginning compared to any other generation. Again, it's probably only something that I care about. I'm sure most people are like, who cares, we can kill a couple of Rattatas, we don't care, but it's just nice. So here we are, Lyra's back, whoop-de-doo. I know everyone loves Lyra, I know I don't. And this whole section, this whole bit that we're about to see is so pointless. It's horrendously pointless. We get a bit of backstory about Lyra. Apparently her grandparents are the ones that run the Pokemon daycare. But again, who cares? It doesn't mean anything. And the whole point in this section is to have Lyra show you that there's a daycare centre here. Now, I think in the original, the guy does come up to you, maybe, but pretty much this doesn't happen. And I'm all for changes if you're going to remake a game, but why? Why introduce this character if this is all she's going to do? If she's going to defend you because all she's done so far is just been there. They made the policeman stupid at the beginning so she can say, oh no, Tom's well cool. And they took out the guy that showed you how to catch him to replace her with Lyra. And now they're just forcing you to do this section where Lyra's like, oh, here's the daycare, which you would easily find by yourself anyway, if you're interested in that. And I'm not interested in this. I am so not interested in the daycare centre. Because in case you don't know, the daycare centre is where you can just drop off your Pokemon and they'll level automatically, and then you pay a certain amount of money to get it back. And the reason why it's useful is because you can drop off 2 Pokemon, and if you leave them long enough, or 2 different sorts, and if you leave there long enough, you will get a Pokemon egg, and then that egg will hatch into a Pokemon. Now, that's all well and good, but I'm not going to go through any of that hassle to get a Pokemon. It's purely there for Pokedex things. And also, I think, shinies and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it, but it's all completely pointless if you're just trying to beat the main game. So I won't be using the daycare centre at all. It's just completely... For how I play these games, I just start them and my goal is just to beat the Elite Four and maybe do a bit of after game stuff and to get all the badges. And that's it. So I don't need to get a Pichu. Because that was something that was added in this generation, baby Pokemon. Which is fine, I guess. Like, in this generation I don't mind baby Pokemon. But, oh god, they become so unnecessary and annoying. I'm trying not to complain all the time in this game, because I do really like this game. But yeah, that's the daycare centre, and you're forced to go there. For no reason. But here we are in Goldenrod City, which is actually the biggest city in this game. It's the equivalent of Celadon, I think, from the first gen. And you can't go... This place is really cool, because you come here, and all you really have to do is take on the gym. Well, actually, before that you have to go to the radio tower. But it's really cool because this city is a city that becomes more useful and more relevant, like the later you are in the game. I'll get into that once we have to return here. But yeah, we do actually have to return here, which is kind of nice. It's kind of a nice structure to the game. And the first thing we're going to do, you have to go to the radio tower. So you might as well do the lottery. It doesn't cost any money. And as she's explaining, it's about if any of your Pokemon's ID numbers matches the random number that they pick in that day, you win a prize! Woo! But it changes every day, so if you don't win today, you can come back tomorrow. And I think if you really want to win, you just catch a ton of Pokemon, all with their own unique IDs. I could tell you the chances of winning the lottery in this game, maybe because I'm a maths student, but I can't be bothered. And it's a really big number, so you can come back there and check every day, but I would say don't. It's a lot of work. You know, this is embarrassing. I know I say that a lot in my LPs, but that because I embarrass myself a lot in my LPs. I remember this quiz being so easy, and I'm pretty sure they've changed it. Not all these questions are stuff that you would have learned in this game. It's stuff that you just need to know. And, like, so I get most of these questions wrong. I get the first 2 right straight away. But then they ask, does Kurt make Pokeballs out of apricots? Which I assumed was yes. Because he was like, oh, I can make you, like, the coolest Pokeballs. And then I was like, no. But he asked for apricot and gave you an apricot box. And then I assumed that you could teach something to a Magikarp. But apparently that's impossible. And then they asked you about Professor Oak's talk show, which I didn't even listen to back in the day, because you get the radio from this, and Professor Oak has a talk show. And I had no idea if he had a co-host or not. It's never mentioned up to this point, so luckily for me the answers stay the same, but for someone that's LP'd 3 Pokemon games, and this is my 4th one, and I've played through this game a couple of times, it was kind of embarrassing that the last 3 questions on this quiz I got wrong each time. So I had to do that 3 times before I got it right. Kind of embarrassing. But now we have the radio card, which, again, it's nice, but it seems a bit odd because like you need it for a couple of things, I think. To do a couple, you can do a couple of cool things with the radio later on, but it seems really weird that you would use the radio because they play music and then they have like a talk show, and you can change what music you hear. But the Pokemon games have really good music. Like generally, they have really good music, like catchy tunes, epic battle music, whatever. So I have no idea why anyone would use the radio. It just seems a bit, I don't know, it's just like they went through all the trouble of making this music and then they're like, oh, if you want you can use the other music. Because radio makes sense in like GTA and Saints Row because there's no music, so. But anyway, enough about that. We're in the second gym already. That's all you had to do in this city before you could get to the gym. Which again is a nice change of pace. You don't have to mess around with Team Rocket or mess around in a monk's tower. So it's quite nice, but yeah, and then once again it's a gym that wasn't in the first gen or what type, and it's normal, which is actually pretty tough. It's not that, these trainers aren't that hard, but normal is weak to fighting and something else. I can't remember, but fighting is the main one. So if you have a fighting Pokemon, I'm sure there is a fighting type Pokemon that you could have catched or could have caught, or there is Pokemon with fighting type moves that you could have caught before this point, so you might be okay. Obviously in my squad I don't have a fighting type Pokemon. I have rock, flying, fire and electric, so I didn't have anything that was strong against normal types. And normal types are actually surprisingly good, or surprisingly difficult to take out. They don't have that many annoying moves, normal types. Like, if you're going up against grass types, they have a ton of annoying moves that are just going to, like, piss you off more than anything. And like electric types, they can like paralyze you, and then you have Zubats that confuse you, and psychic types that are just really tough. So normal types aren't that tough, but they can be kind of annoying to take down. And also, one thing I'm going to mention about this gym, if you look at it closely, it's a lot easier to see in this version, but it's in the shape of a Chansey. There's the two eyes, that's the mouth, and okay, it's going out, but it's all in the shape of a Chansey, which I never noticed. I think I picked that up from a Did You Know Gaming episode about Pokemon or something like that. Some sort of facts and, fun facts. Maybe Proto Mario made a video, I'm not sure. But it was really hard to see in the original. But in this one, because it's 3D, I think they made, like, they either zoomed out the camera or made it a bit smaller. So you can clearly see the Chansey here. But if you're playing it in the original, it's really hard to see. But it is there. It's definitely there, and it's hitting out. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of a nice touch. Although I don't think the gym leader in this has a Chansey. I can't remember. She might do anyway. I don't know. But yeah, just be careful against these normal types, but you shouldn't have any problem against the regular ones. It's just this is the first gym where you're probably not going to have anything that strong against it. So it comes down to how strong and how leveled your Pokemon are. But luckily for me, I'm a Pokemon Master expert kind of guy. You know me. I failed the quiz 3-4 times. I'm a Pokemon Master. So my Pokemon were strong enough to take them down. So, although, okay, I guess normal types do have some annoying traits like putting you to sleep. And the gym leader actually has a couple of annoying traits as well. But we'll get to that when we get to that, See, I wanted to use the Fluff because Fluff was only level 17, so I didn't have one Pokemon I needed to level up, so I just tried to use all of them in this gym. But anyway, that's about all we have time for. So next time in Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver, now that we've defeated, that's actually all the trainers already defeated. Pretty easy, really. So next time I'm going to go heal my Pokemon, and when we return, I will take on the gym leader. So I've been on Storm23. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.